Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm lovely. How are you today?
Well, thank you. I forgot that my little viewfinder was hidden. Um, Thank you guys for being here and on time. Sorry, I just put a piece of chocolate in my mouth.
No
Um,
worries.
let's see, who do we have on so far? It's a good group tonight. There should be more folks joining us. About 9 people signed up. And then someone messaged me about Bali today, and I was like, jump on the information session if you have time. So we'll see who can make it. But thank you for being here and sharing part of your, what are we on? Thursday night with Lesbifriends Travel. We're gonna, this is gonna be an interactive session. I'm gonna do most of the work. I'll be talking, but I would love to get an opportunity to learn a little bit more about the group, who you are as individuals, but also how do you like to travel, where do you want to go, and what trips you're potentially interested in, whether they be with Lesbifriends Travel or other destinations, because I'm getting ready for 2026, even though we are just getting into 2025. Um, so first, I like to just do a gentle icebreaker with a round of introductions, to get to know one another. I'll probably pause at different points of the session to ask for more, I do more icebreaker sort of interactions, but we'll be light this time. Also, um, I do like to just tell people up front, and you could probably see, but this is being recorded just for sharing purposes amongst the group, so that after this session, if you have to jump off, or even if you stay the entire time and you just want to revisit something, you will get a link by tomorrow with the recording, so that you can again view it, or if you miss something, revisit it, or maybe even share it with a friend. And then for those people who registered but couldn't make it tonight, they'll also get the link to hear about the trips that were discussed as well. Um, and I of course would love to see all of your wonderful faces, but by all means, if you are shy or just, don't want to be on camera at certain times, feel free to take off your camera. But of course, I would love to see you all. And thank you guys for being on camera so far. Okay, so without further ado, we'll just do a light icebreaker. So we're going to do name, pronoun if you have pronouns that you prefer, and we're going to share where we're calling in from. And also, I would love to know, where is your most memorable trip, and what is something that you like to bring in your carry-on, like on the plane? Okay, so I'll start. I know that was a lot of information. I just think of these things off the top of my head. Sorry, I don't have them written down, but I'll put them in the chat when I'm done formulating my thoughts. Okay, so my name is Lisa. My pronouns are she, her. I'm calling from Washington, D.C. The best trip I've ever been on, I will say it's hard, but I'm gonna go with my old faithful. I went to Vietnam 20 years ago, and it's still one of my most memorable experiences. I was introduced to Vietnamese food there. It costs like $2 to eat there a day. The people were so friendly. I felt tall, and I'm only 5'3" because they were so little. Um, Everything was just really affordable, good quality. And as a 20-year-old, I just felt like on top of the world. And I've since then been back, and still feel like it's a great value. Maybe it costs like $5 to eat a day, but I can afford it. So yeah, Vietnam would be one of, yeah, my top pick. This info session around. And then what's one thing I have to have in my carry-on? I recently invested in this adapter that goes into the like the plug on the so you can watch TV on the plane, and so I can use my own headphones rather than the headphones they provide. And I've taken a few international trips lately, so it's really useful. I've been definitely packing that in my carry-on and getting use out of that in all of my trips recently. Okay, so I believe there's just three of us so far, or a total of four. So I'm gonna add it to where's my group chat? I'll add it to my the group chat as we're talking. But if someone remembers the prompts, please go ahead and
Go first. Well, second, if you all don't mind. My name is Kay. Calling from Atlanta, Georgia. Let me know if this is unstable at all, and I'll get on my phone because sometimes my Zoom is weird on my laptop. But I'm originally from PG and DC. I've been in Atlanta for 5 years. My pronouns are her, she. Um, well, my most memorable trip was my recent trip to Costa Rica. It was memorable because it was everything I imagined it would be. I felt like for the last 4 years, I kept saying I'm gonna go to Costa Rica, and I went to all these other places because I had the opportunity to go, and it just was provided. And when I finally went, I kept saying I'm being called to Costa Rica. I'm being called to Costa Rica, and everything there, the connections, the food, the people, the energy was just everything. So yeah, that was my most memorable. It just was beautiful. And, and what I always travel with a scarf, typically something to cover my head. More recently, it's been my mom's scarf, and I always carry a small urn. So I always carry that wherever I travel to because I feel like I take her everywhere I go. So yeah,
that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
thank you.
I love
I
Costa
just want to
Rica
say,
too. Oh, sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no, 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 I'm sorry. I want to say that I'm on and I'm listening, but I also cook and like, and so I'm kind of like going back and forth. So everything is on. So if you don't see me, I'm just running back and forth to the kitchen to get pictures and things like that and pull food out the oven. Okay.
Oh, I love that. What are you cooking?
Um, I made a black eyed pea meatball. So I'm plant based, and so I made black eyed pea meatballs and smoked roasted sweet potatoes. So yeah,
Delicious. Oh, that sounds amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Now
I'm
before we
starving.
get off, please show us because I'm excited. I want to see it. Yeah, that's fun.
I got you. I got
I
you.
want to see meatballs. That's so creative. I love that.
And yeah, I'm excited. This is like, I was like, oh, I broke the code on this one.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who would like to go next? I put in the group chat just so you guys could remember.
I'll go next. If y'all can hear me.
Yes, we can.
I'm Shanitha. I'm calling in from Barnesville, Georgia, south of Atlanta. And my pronouns are she and her. And I haven't traveled where I had to have a carry-on. It was more like a bag in the back. And it was Jekyll Island last year. I guess the most memorable part of it was the smell of the water and how like different pockets of the sand could take you out. And then it was sort of like you were sinking, if you will. I talk with my hands. I'm gonna put them down. But yeah, what else? Where the prompts go? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Sorry, what's the name of the island?
Jekyll Island.
Jekyll Island. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. That sounds magical.
And I think one thing that I did travel with that particular trip was like driving shoes.
Okay, you were driving a lot?
Yeah, it was a 4 hour drive from my house.
Oh, okay. You like
Yeah,
a road trip?
I do. I
Okay,
do. I do.
good to
Yeah.
know. All right, you're in the driver's seat. Well, thank you for sharing that and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome RC who just joined. We are just doing introductions. I'm gonna copy and paste the prompts into the group chat, and um, either Lynn or RC, if you feel comfortable, you are welcome to introduce yourself. I know Kiki is just getting in. So I will also reshare one more time the group chat. We're just doing a quick introduction icebreaker by sharing a few things: your name, pronouns, where you're calling from, your most memorable trip, and then something you like to have when you travel. It doesn't have to be in a carry-on, whether you travel by road, by car, train, or plane, whatever you like to have in your bag close to you.
Hey everybody. I'm not gonna come on camera uh because I'm in my PJs and I have an early morning. So it's kind of gonna wind down early today. But I think I have a picture up and I look sort of like that except my hair has a lot more gray. Uh yeah, so I'm calling from Washington DC and let's see. I do have a carry-on. I normally keep uh an extra pair of underwear and like my medication and then just things like electronics. I just got one of those things that you're describing, Lisa, so I'm gonna be using it this upcoming trip. My aunt got me one for Christmas, fellow tourists. Haha. Um, let's see. Um, I normally keep an extra pair of underwear because I've had my luggage lost before. When I went to London the first time, my luggage was lost for like 5 days. And, you know, what I found was that it was difficult to find clothing for people with curves in London. So that's that. At least that was, I don't know, that was back then, back in 2008. Maybe things have changed. My most memorable trip, I'm torn between Rio and Cape Town. Um, in terms of most memorable, I guess I'll go with Cape Town. I was with a cool group of beautiful people. Um, I felt like I was just living my best life back then. You know, I was young and spry, and I was there for about 2 weeks, and I felt like I got to do just about everything. You know, I had a real natural experience going into the shanty towns and even going over to our tour guide's house. So that was pretty cool. Doing the safari and playing playing marimbas with the mayor of one of the shanty towns. I don't know. It was just, it was just a real cool vibe. So I think I answered all the questions. I look forward to meeting you all. I guess in what is it, Bali? Yeah, thanks.
Well, I know not everybody's going to Bali, but you'll meet some people there. uh,
Oh, my bad.
and thank you for that, Lynn. This definitely, we are talking about Bali on this information session, but we are talking about a few other trips and just trips in general. So, um, just to give everyone that precursor. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Lynn. All right, we have two people who I would love if you wanted to introduce yourselves. I put the prompts in the group chat: name, pronouns, where you're calling from, your most memorable trip, and something you like to travel with. And Lynn, just to piggyback on what you said, I I second that not all places like people with curves and don't have underwear to fit us because I too had my luggage lost going into Israel. I actually went to 3 countries that trip, and they gave me my luggage back when I was leaving.
Oh,
Um, but it was very hard to find underwear in Israel. I definitely was doing the hand wash thing in the sink with what I had, airing those out. Anyway, so that's a good tip for people to have something on their person in their backpack, whether it's underwear or just a change of clothes.
Hey, Lisa, I forgot to say my pronouns. I'm she, her.
Thank you.
Stud muffin number one. Stud
Covered,
muffin number one, she, her.
thank you. Covered all the bases.
Yep.
All right. I think RC was going to go next, and then Kiki, you're on deck. So
Good evening, everybody. My name is R.C. Riley. My pronouns are they, them. And I'm calling from Chicago. And my most memorable trip, I don't know. I like all the trips I've ever been on for different reasons. So I will say that I really loved Bali. Yeah, I really enjoyed Bali. I enjoyed the way that people were so thankful and grateful, even though they didn't have as much as we have financially. But everybody just seemed like they were content and even more than content. And I love that aspect of being in Bali and the spiritual aspect of it. Something I like to keep in my carry on or take with me on any trip. Um, I'm a writer. I like to take my laptop everywhere and a bag of honey roasted cashews. That's like my road trip snack, and it makes me feel comforted. So, yeah, I like to be able to write to stay grounded, and I like to have that sweet and crunchiness in my mouth to help me with grounding as well.
thank you. That's great. Love that, and I love that Bali's on the top of your list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, Kiki, you have last but not least. Love to hear your intro.
So my name is Kiara. My pronouns are yes, Kiki. You can call me Kiki. Pronouns are they them. I'm calling from New York. Um, my favorite trips. I only got my passport last month, and I went to Grenada for the first. It was my first time leaving the country, and I feel like it was a good place to go for the first time. And I really enjoyed like just seeing how different people were from in the States and like how much more comfortable I felt just being myself, having my body out and everything. It was just like it was a great experience. I went with a great person. And for my carry-on, I like having a portable charger at all times. So that's like very important to have my phone charged. So that's gonna be my thing.
That is a great, yes, that is necessary. I'm actually gonna like look into, I do swag bags for each trip, and I feel like I'm gonna start including portable chargers in the swag bag because I mean, it's nice to be disconnected, but you sometimes just need your phone, right? You need it to be charged when you're traveling. So yeah, that's a good one. And congratulations on your passport. Hopefully here's to many travel experience on the horizon.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you all for sharing and welcome again. I think, yeah, we got everybody. There are 9 people that are supposed to be here tonight, so they might trickle in. And if so, at some point, I'll ask them to introduce themselves. You also are not off the hook for the rest of the night. You can mute yourselves right now because I'll do a little bit of talking. But I will be asking more questions of you. So stay sharp. And keep cooking over there, okay? Excuse me. I'm going to actually share my screen with y'all so you can see the presentation, and we can get into the first share, which is about Bali. But before we even get into Bali, we're going to talk a little bit about Lesbifriends travels. I, I know that there are a couple people here who have traveled with the group, and there are many new faces, so excited to see you all tonight. Um, but just so, and this will be a refresher for some, and you could probably, Google it or read it online, but I do like to share, a little bit more about the background, the history of who I am, the company, all that jazz, so you know who you'd be entrusting your next travel experience to. So I'm Lisa. I founded, I guess I founded, yeah, I founded Lesbifriends Travel back in officially 2022, but that's when I created an LLC. But prior to that, I was hosting what was a sort of a meetup group called Wine and Lesbi Friends since 2011. I just decided to be more official because I was expanding and wanted to really focus on travel, not just on drinking in my living room. No, I'm just kidding. It was more than that. But I started back in 2011. I graduated from law school in 2010, and I was kind of just looking for community. I didn't really enjoy going to the clubs or being like out in super social, crowded environments. So I organically just started hosting kickbacks, if you will, or meetups in my one bedroom apartment at the time. The first one had 10 people. And after that, I kept it going bi-monthly. People would like bring a bottle of wine, we'd play games, we'd bring food. We were all broke, so it was great. But then everybody wanted to bring friends. And I was like, okay, we can do this, but we don't have to start charging $5. And then since then, and 70 events later, we are here in 2025. And outside of just the house get-togethers, I have hosted a lot of different types of events. Upcoming, I wish more of you were closer because then you could come to our two upcoming events this weekend. And I never do two events in one weekend, but we're having a paint and sip event on Saturday, and there are 75 people coming. And then we're having a firearm and safety training course led by one of our own community members on Sunday. And that's a smaller, more intimate class of 11. But we do really host unique events. So hopefully, if you are ever in DC, or if you want to come to DC, pick a weekend when we're going to be doing something fun so we can connect. Because that's where I live, DC. So that's where the events are going to happen. Okay, so that's a little bit how Lesbifriends Travel got started. I was hosting an annual winter trip for years, just the one trip a year. And then at post-COVID, people were asking about international travel. And so I decided to pivot. Instead of just doing mostly get-togethers and events, I started planning group travel. And so we've been on about 15 trips so far over the last few years, and we are gearing up to, we're at about 10 to 12 trips a year, just depending, how things go. But that's what I would love to be able to offer, domestic and international travel for people, in addition to the community events in between. I still have a day job. I'm an attorney for the federal government. This is not my bread and butter, but it is a passion project, and this is why I do it, because I believe in the power of travel and learning and connection and people. And I really like what unfolds when you meet a stranger and you make a lifelong travel buddy because you met on a random trip or you met at a get together in the park hosted by Lesbifriends. So that's a little bit about Lesbifriends Travel and our start. So this page is mostly about what makes us unique, what sets us apart, and the little things we do to hopefully make you have an elevated travel experience. So I've been on group travel trips, and I'm not saying I do anything differently from anybody else, but I like to do everything. So I like to overdo it, maybe a little. So I like to probably maybe a little over planning. So you're going to get all tons of information, but you're going to feel prepared and safe to travel with the itineraries that are curated just for our group. Um, of course, I create the itineraries before I even get to know the people that come on um, the group trips. But fortunately, energies attract, and whoever is supposed to be on that trip is exactly where they should be. And yeah, the trips are very intentional, and so you will meet like-minded people. For example, I hosted a trip in Brazil in February for Carnival. There was a group of 10 of us. A lot of people wanted to like party and stay out all night. And then a couple weeks later, there was another group of 9 of us in Nicaragua who wanted to just be zen and have wellness activities and do yoga on the beach and breath work and writing pages workshops. So very different groups, but we all align in the way that we should. We also do roommate matching for a lot of us are solo travelers. I'm usually a solo traveler on all of these trips, even though this is my company, I'm coming alone. Hopefully I will, I'll meet new people, I'll reconnect with old people, but I actually enjoy having a roommate because it makes the cost a little bit more affordable. Of course, some people, I completely understand wanting to have your own room, but if having your own room costs you $1,000 more on a trip, you might consider rooming with a new person because you're just sharing, the room space. Most of the day you're going to be out and about in whatever place we're visiting. And again, good energy all around with like-minded people. So it's I'm going to make sure that you get matched with the person you should get matched with. I ask very tailored questions so that if there is roommate matching, you will be with someone who you feel comfortable with, who aligns with the type of things you might want in a shared room experience. Sorry, I have 2 screens. So if you see me looking to the other side, I'm looking at my other screen. We also, I like to overdo it sometimes. So I do have a packing list curated for each of the places that we go. I'm gonna make sure that you pack an umbrella when we go to Thailand because not because it's gonna rain, but because the sun is so hot there and they sell umbrellas on every corner. So I'm just gonna try to save you some money by telling you to pack an umbrella so to shade your head and your body of that sun. So you'll get that as well as a tailored travel guide about 30 days before your trip so you can plan accordingly and just get you prepared for the trip. Lesbifriends Travel also provides exclusive events for the people who are coming on trips, but also anybody can come to our general community events that are open to the public, and we welcome that. But sometimes you just want to meet fellow travelers who are going to be on the next trip with you or who have already been on a trip with you so you can see a familiar face. So we do a couple of those each year, and that's just like a bonus and a thank you and a give back for traveling with us. You most likely will have to travel to Washington, D.C. because that's where I'm at. But if you are traveling from out of town and I have a spare room, I will give it to you so you don't have to think about a place to stay. And I've done that for people before. Number 5 are our pre-trip community group chats. So again, about a month before every trip, I open up a group chat on WhatsApp, which is a way that a lot of people communicate out of the country anyway, internationally. Even businesses um, do do business on WhatsApp. So it's just a good app to have anyway. So every trip has a dedicated chat group just for that trip. So we can talk before the trip, get to know one another, exchange travel tips, ask questions, share, what we're packing, but also stay in touch throughout the trip, like during the trip, and even after the trip. People definitely use that to communicate after. And last but not least, I've already mentioned those travel guides that are going to give you a lot of information about laws, social norms, might give you some words to practice, in that country's language. It'll give you insights about currency. Some of those are like 30 pages long, so I definitely do my due diligence, just making sure you have that information so you don't have to spend a ton of time finding that in different unreputable places online potentially. I'm going to do the legwork for you ahead of time. Okay, now we can get into the trip. This is the fun part. The purpose of this information session is kind of like a last call. We have two of these three trips that I'm presenting tonight are coming up this summer. Excuse me, they're actually the next trips for Lesbifriends Travel. So, and they do have deadlines. So I basically wanted to share this one last time, these trips with folks, so that if you are interested, you will have all the necessary information potentially to make your decision and sign up there because there are deadlines. So Bali, I presented two information sessions ago, and that went well, and one person even signed up recently. Of course, we would love for there to be another person who signs up on this call, but no pressure. We will do Bali again in the future. Can't promise that it'll be next year, but it might be the year after. So if Bali's on your list, this is the type of trip you will experience with Lesbifriends Travel. This year in particular, we're going June 14th through the 22nd. We are going to Ubud and Seminyak, and we went to both of those places last year on our inaugural trip there and had an amazing experience. So again, why reinvent the wheel? We're going right back because we are familiar with it. It gave us, like RC said, it gave us a great experience. So we will be staying in two different accommodations while on this trip. The first one is in Ubud, and we will be staying in a 4-star resort in a very walkable area in the center, in the heart of Ubud. There are shops around. There are shops around. You can go shopping, go have delicious food, steps outside of your door of the resort. But when you're in the resort, it's like its own oasis. So it's kind of in the hustle bustle, and that you can go out and be a part of the community. But then when you again go in the resort, it's like you're in your own haven. And it's a very nice upscale resort. Breakfasts are included where we're staying, so one less thing to worry about. Also, they have a spa on site for those who want to get spa treatments. I will say that a lot of us opted for spa treatments on site last year when we went in the accommodation that we stayed in last year. But literally, if you went right outside down the street, maybe a block, you could probably save. And spa treatments weren't expensive. You know, they might have been like $30 for an hour massage. So still very affordable by United States standards. But who doesn't want to save some money? I would definitely take a walk to have a $15 massage instead of paying 30. Then I could get a few. But the first accommodation is a hotel resort style accommodation where we're staying. The second one will be in Seminyak. So Ubud's more of a city feel, and Seminyak is more of a beach town. So it's still very developed. There's plenty of places to eat. It's very easy to get around. People speak English in Indonesia. So it's very easy to communicate with local people. And there's a pretty diverse population here in Seminyak. So you'll see like will be tourists, you'll see other tourists there. And maybe even some expats, because people actually decide to stay when they go to Bali. It has that much appeal. But in Seminyak, we will be staying in a villa style accommodation while we're here. So we've gotten to know each other for a few nights, and we've had, we might have been spread out throughout the hotel. Now we can actually like have our own home space to come to and, commune with each other on the second half of the trip, because we'll be family by then. This is a little bit, perfect. I knew that was going to start making sorry we can't play the fun videos. These are actually videos that were taken on our first trip there last year. I have to figure out how to turn off that sound. But these are the first 3 days of the itinerary. So when you get to Bali, we're gonna pick you up from the airport. You'll get a private transport, or if you're arriving there with someone who's flying in around the same time, maybe like within 30 to 60 minutes of your arrival, we'll make sure you link up with them so you have a buddy to keep you company on the way to the hotel. You'll get checked in and you'll get settled, and then we'll do meet and greet and meet everyone in person before we have our signature welcome dinner. And at that welcome dinner, we will also be privy to a traditional Balinese show. And so I'm going to play this real quick just so you can see. This is actually our welcome dinner the first night, and this is Christina. She did not know that she was going to get pulled into dance with this beautiful woman right here. But it was a lot of fun. It was interesting and also fun. Then day 2, after having breakfast and hopefully just, getting acclimated to the new time zone, we're going to have some fun and go hang out with the monkeys. And so we're going to visit a sacred monkey forest sanctuary. There's other animals in this park of sorts, but the monkeys are the biggest appeal. There's a lot of beautiful foliage and nature. There's even like a cafe, so you can just take your time, spend a couple hours. The monkeys will actually come up to you. They'll potentially sit on your lap. They might try to crawl on your shoulder. They're very comfortable with humans. They might even try to steal your glasses, but don't worry. We'll let you know what you should and should not have out, because we don't want anybody to get their glasses stolen. I actually went to Vietnam last year and I got an ice cream cone stolen out of my hand by a monkey. I guess the monkey needed it more than me. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was nice to say that I got crawled on by a monkey. Then on day 3, after we have another delicious breakfast at the hotel, we will do an offering, a traditional offering, and learn about the local culture and the customs there, and their traditions and religion. We will also have a dance lesson. So this will be our culturally immersive day. The second day, it'll probably be like a half a day that we're out and about together. You'll have some free time, but the second day, we're gonna go all in. We're gonna do that offering, learn how to make an offering, do a dance class. We'll also do a traditional purification ceremony. This is what you see here in the top right hand corner. All of the group got in this water. It was really amazing. It was powerful for me, and I'm sure RC can attest to that for their own experience as well. And then we'll close out the day by visiting Ubud Palace and the market closer to the hotel. Then on day 4, we will, sorry, I have a sensitive mouth. Then on day 4, we will have a leisurely day to explore with optional add-on excursions. You can book in advance, or you can just wait until you get there and figure it out. Last year, I had something planned every day, and there was someone in the group who found a sunrise. Was it a volcano hike? Yes, a volcano hike at sunrise at 3 a.m. So people had to decide, do I want to go do these e-bikes through a rice paddy through the rice fields, or do I want to visit this once in a lifetime hike to see a beautiful sunrise? And 6 of the group chose to do the hike. And so I felt bad because, they didn't get to experience everything, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to pick and choose now what you get to do on day 4, because that's your day of leisure. Then day 5, we will say goodbye to Ubid for now and head to Seminyak, which is the both places are leisurely, but I feel like this is truly like this is probably like the peace that you need at PEAC, because we're going to be right by the beach. There's great nightlife options for people who want it, but also like things to do in the day. They have day parties that people might like to go to as well. They actually don't close, so it's a perfect way to just get your fill of whatever you're looking for. But we'll get settled into our new accommodations and we'll explore the local area as a group. Then day 6, we will have some fun in the mud with elephants. This was definitely something that most people wanted to do, even though they didn't want to be in the actual water with elephants. Everybody actually got up close with the elephants and they rubbed on them and they cleaned them, and most of the group actually got in the water with the elephants. And the elephants are such gentle giants, and it was just really nice to share that space with them. So we're going to enjoy that time with them, and that is also accompanied by a really delicious lunch that's included, along with access to a zoo day trip. On day 7, I'm going to let this play. Hopefully I'm speaking loud enough over this. Oh, I was hoping it was going to show RC. RC, I think I left you out of that clip. But RC was cooking. RC was cooking on that day. It was the last day of our trip last year, but it's day 7 of this year's trip. And we did a local cooking class, which was the highlight of the trip for a couple people. I really enjoy doing cooking classes when I'm traveling, because it's a way for you to bring something home, a lesson learned. You can recreate that meal again and again, and just something that speaks to your heart. Yeah, and you did that. You put your foot in that. You ate that food, and yeah, it's just for me, that's the best type of souvenir I can bring back for myself. And we'll also get to go to a local market before the cooking class and learn, if we were ever to live in Bali, like what spices do we buy, what kind of shopping we would do in the local market. And then we will have a group dinner together on this day. This will be not quite our farewell dinner, but our almost farewell dinner as a group. Day 8, we will get to go to some temples, which is a very powerful experience. I really enjoyed the temples because you just see people from all walks of life. Not everybody practices the same religion. Some people don't have a religion at all. And they just come together in these serene spaces where there's so much significance, and they enjoy in being there and what that means to them. So, and then these structures are just really remarkable. So that is something that I think a lot of people enjoy, and definitely something you want to experience when you go to Indonesia. And then you'll have part of the day on your own to explore Seminyak. Last year we celebrated RC's birthday in Bali, which was great. And on one of our leisure days, the group went to a day club and got like a cabana. I remember RC's favorite thing was like the shrimp there. Kept hearing about this shrimp. I was like, I gotta have this shrimp. But it was a lot of fun. Then on day 9, we will have to say our goodbyes unless you extended your trip and are staying a little bit longer. I actually spoke to someone who's coming early and leaving late on that trip because she's celebrating, and I'm not mad at her for doing that. If I had all the vacation time in the world, I'd do that too. And then last but not least, we'll have to say our goodbyes and head to the airport on day 9. So just a little recap, and I'll go more quickly on the next trip because you'll have most of the outline of how these things work. So what the trip includes: airport pickup and drop off, all the accommodations, breakfast, the welcome dinner, the pre-farewell dinner, of course, all the transportations, and a great tour guide. We're going to actually work with the same woman worked with last year. Her name is Henny, and she's amazing. She's a sweetheart. Like she gave us gifts when we left her. But yeah, she's just has a heart of gold and is very giving. So and is very knowledgeable about, of course, Bali. That's where she's from. We're gonna, of course, do all the show. We're gonna have access to all the shows and activities and excursions that were mentioned. And then just a couple little extras. The swag bag I mentioned. You'll have a little fun gift when you arrive, and an on-ground travel team to ensure you have an amazing time. What's not included is your flights. You just have to get yourself to and from Bali. And I can, if you have any questions about flight booking, I actually just did a 1 hour, like it was only supposed to be 30 minutes, but we were just wrapping. Was it yesterday or the day before? Me and someone who was going to Egypt and Jordan, we just were, doing searches and figuring out what the best plan of action for them was. So I'm happy to do that with folks if you would like to talk about your flight options. Travel insurance is a must, not because I'm going to check if you have travel insurance, but just because stuff happens and we're all adults and you have medical insurance. And so you should have, hopefully we have medical insurance, but you should have travel insurance because you just never know what's going to happen. And it's a couple $100 in your investment for a really amazing trip. So protect your travel investment. There aren't any vaccines that are needed for Bali, but I just like to put that just so you can do your due diligence. If you want to just get everything just in case, but nothing is required. And then you got to just take care of, your souvenirs and some meals that aren't mentioned. But luckily, Bali is very affordable for food, especially if you're eating local cuisine and not just eating at the hotel, even though the hotel is pretty affordable too. All right. And then last but not least, the price. So if you wanted to come to Bali and have a shared room with someone, the cost would be $3,200. If you wanted to have your own room, the cost would be $4,300. I also do offer a pay in full discount. And so if you are coming to Bali, the trip would be paid in full by the end of this month anyway, so it's kind of like a bonus anyway. So if you pay in full, you get 10% off of your trip. Any international trip except cruises, because I can't change the prices on cruises, unfortunately, because you pay the cruise company. But it's just a nice little. You can do something else with that $320 if you did decide to come to Bali and pay in full. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a couple minutes just to open up the chat for the group for any questions that people might have about Bali or just in general, like traveling with Lesbifriends. No questions? All are easy. Okay. All right, well, good. We can do another icebreaker. Yay! I can learn more about you. All right, what do I want to know next? Okay, I already know where you guys want to go if you travel with Lesbifriends because you guys filled that out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to know two things on this round. I want to know what's your travel style? Like, and don't say everything. Like, I mean, I like to do everything too. But if you had like 3 days in a place, like, what kind of trip would you want to go on? Like something adventurous? Do you just want to be snoozy on the beach? Do you want to be like climbing up some mountains? You got 3 days. You can't do everything. You just got 3 days. So what's your adventure? Like, what's your travel style? Like, what do you want to do? And then I also want to know what's one place that's on your bucket list. This could be domestic or it could be international. I'll go first. I'll lead by example. Um, I'm an adventure girly, so I don't do this enough locally. But I decided to do a ropes course for my birthday, so I'm gonna start doing it. I feel like I've done a lot of adventure stuff except bungee jumping, but I want to go jump off a cliff I want to go like with protection, you know. I want to go scuba diving. I want to go ATVing or zip lining on a trip. That's what I want to do. I paid 300 and too much dollars to do what are those called? Paragliding. Went in Brazil. That was 10 minutes of my life. $300. But at least I could say I went paragliding. And then what's one place I want to go? Um, I would really like to go to what's on my list? I want to go to Ethiopia. I know it's not a good time to go there now, but I've been fortunate to have some Ethiopian neighbors. I live in DC. There's such amazing Ethiopian cuisine here. I mean, I always want to go anywhere in the motherland, but I just want to go to Ethiopia and get like a first-hand experience of that culture. So, all right, who's next? Don't be shy. Unmute yourself.
Go. I'll go. I'm sorry, I totally forgot the questions. I was like all into
You're
something else.
fine. What what's your travel style? Like you only got 3 days.
Oh,
What you want to do? Adventure, chill, beach, spa,
mhm.
and then where's one place you want to go?
My travel style is almost always solo. I'm an adventure girly, but I always travel for the trees. So wherever I can go and see the trees, I'm going to find the trees. And next, I'm going to find the mountains or the water or something like that. But I'm going to go for the trees, the local food, and yeah, and I travel and I don't figure out anything most of the time until I'm there. But sometimes I don't even know where I'm going to stay until like the day before I go. I just buy the plane ticket and then I figure it out from there. So it's like, okay. Um, a place I would like to go. I feel like I think Madagascar has been on my list, but one of the places local I really want to go is see the California redwoods. I just really it's like it feels magical, like I have to be there. So yeah,
Sorry, I muted myself. I love that.
yeah.
That is awesome. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you,
that. So you're
thank
a
you.
tree hugger. Nothing wrong
I'm
with
a big tree hugger. My whole back is an oak tree. I mean, from here to my entire back is a tree.
that.
Thank
Sounds beautiful.
you.
I'll go next. Um, let me see. Is there an echo? I'm sorry. I have like too many things going on here. No echo?
But it's manageable.
Okay. So my travel style, I love to do something very physical. So like the hiking up that volcano was phenomenal. But then I also like to chill on a beach in the water. So I like to have one day where I'm doing something very like taxing on my body, and then another day where I get to relax in like a hot spring or something like that. Um, and then place I want to go, Egypt. I want to see the pyramids. Everybody tells me Greece is wonderful, and one day I will get to Rio.
Very nice. Good list. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Travel style or something you like to do when you travel and a bucket list place you want to go.
I go next. Um, I guess I would say adventurous is my travel style. Like, I hike every 2 weeks, little small places, North Georgia. Um, I would like to go somewhere in Africa. I just want to go to Africa. I have no specific place. And just get to the culture, do some Reiki, possibly in the forest, see the waterfalls, and just, do some grounding work on that real soil. And that's it.
Good list. Thank you.
So, to answer the question, I typically like to ride and drive things. So I might opt for that bike ride situation thing. Um, yeah, that's my style. Um, I like to get a sense of the nightlife wherever I go. Um, and I like places that have markets, like international markets. I usually go there. Um, but I also like scenery. I'm very big into like, architecture, scenery of the place, the landscape. Um, I like looking at that and just kind of thinking. Um, in terms of bucket list, I was actually talking about this on the elevator today, is Antarctica. Because I've been to 6 continents and I need to try to get that seventh one out of the way. So I need to start researching what is there to do or what, in Antarctica and where to go. So that's that.
Very nice. Thank you for that, Lynn. All right. Any other takers want to share what is your travel style, or what's one thing you like to do when you travel or want to try, and then where is someone place you want to go?
So my travel style is I like to adventure. I also like adventures. I want to sightsee. I want to see like all of the every part of nature. I want to see animals and things like that. Um, as far as places I want to go, I really want to go to Thailand. I've loved Thai food, so I want to try the food, and I've also heard very good things about the people. So that's where I want to go.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was great. And you will love the food in Thailand. It's amazing and it's so cheap. All right. Who is next? Let's see. I think Doris, I know you're a new addition, but if you feel comfortable, we would love for you to introduce yourself. And I'm gonna send you, put in the group chat what we did for our introductions, if you're able to unmute yourself, or just put it in the chat, type it in the chat, and then you can also answer what's your travel style, or what's one thing you like to do when traveling, and then where's one place you want to go. No pressure. And if you don't want to share, we can catch you the next time we do a share. I know some people are maybe still at work or driving, so I don't want to interrupt your flow. All right, we will go back to the presentation and I will share my screen so you guys can see. Oh, I got a little excited. All right, so the next place that is, I guess, a last call place would be our Caribbean cruise. I've never done a cruise with the group before. I usually just pick a destination and fly there and kind of just want to be immersed in that culture for however long we're there. But a couple people kept talking up cruises and saying what a great experience they are and how it's easy for group travel. I've been on cruises before. I actually did a study abroad cruise called Semester at Sea. So I was on a 100-day cruise and it was great, but it was a lot. But that was 20 years ago. So Anyway, as an adult, I'm very much looking forward to going on an adults only cruise for our first Lesbifriends travel cruise. So I will we are going on a Virgin Voyages cruise in June 20th through the 25th, which is literally right after the Bali trip or overlapping the Bali trip. Um, so if you can't, unfortunately, you can't go on both or you'll miss something. But this would be a great opportunity for you to cruise, have an adults only experience, elevated experience on a luxury cruise line. And so we will be staying, our accommodations is the cruise ship, right? And I've never been on a Virgin Voyages cruise before, but I hear great things about it from friends that I know who have gone personally. Also, in order to be able to get the group to be to go on this cruise, I'm a travel advisor. Like I have a license as a travel advisor, but Virgin Voyages, in order to be able to like even get set up to share their cruises with people, they make you go through like 10 hours of training. So I've just been stalking the Virgin Voyages for like the last year and just, figuring out when I could actually go on one of their cruises. And this was the time. We're going next year, we're probably going to cruise with them somewhere in Europe. They offer European and also Australian cruises. This year, I figured we'd start off in the Caribbean. And so we're going to the Bahamas and the Dominican Republic. We'll be sailing on their Valiant Lady ship, which offers 17 decks. It's basically a resort on the water with over 20 eateries. They have a spa. They have so many entertainment options. The rooms are gorgeous and spacious, and they even have like, I mean, they have gourmet places to eat, but like some of their draws are just like the spaces that you'll experience, like the pool or the workout center. They even have a tattoo shop on board, and I know at least one person that says they're going to get a tattoo there. So this is our itinerary for the cruise. So for people who have cruised or just know about cruises, it's everything's included. So you can literally go to, well, except the tattoo and the spa services. You got to pay extra for those. But you can literally go to as many shows as you want. You can do all the workout classes that you want to do. You can go to every one of their eateries, cafes, restaurants on board, and it's all included. You don't have to pay extra. You do have to pay for your own alcohol though. But they have pretty good pricing and a heavy pour, I hear. So this is our itinerary, and it will honestly, it might get changed a little bit just based on the group's preferences and how people are feeling. We've actually already started the group chat for this, for our trip on the cruise, just because we have to pick some things like what time we're going to dine together. That stuff opens up kind of early, so we're already kind of chatting and engaging about that right now. But just to give you an idea, you arrive at the airport and then you get to the ship. Right now my boarding time is 2:30 p.m. But I always recommend people get there as early in the day as possible or the day before into Miami, just so there's no chance that they will miss getting on that ship. Then we'll have, once people get settled in their room, we're going to plan to meet as a group, and kind of just do like a walk, like a self-guided tour of the ship to get acclimated and to meet each other, and we'll explore some of the hot spots on the ship before we attend the sail away party, which is kind of like a major send off for the ship. We'll have dinner together, and then there's some event activities happening on the first night that I just wanted to recommend that people do. But people can come and go at their own leisure. We'll be there doing them as a group for people who want to opt in. On day two, people can have breakfast on their own or together as a group. Again, there's so many dining options on the ship, so I don't want to limit people to just going together if they want to check out something else. I like to get in a workout early in the day when I'm on a cruise because it makes me feel better about all the calories I'm going to be consuming throughout the rest of the day. So I'll do something leisurely after a workout session, maybe hang out at the pool. Then we'll have lunch again alone or as groups. Naturally, there are a lot of solo travelers coming on this cruise, so people will naturally gravitate towards each other and have a lunch buddy. And for those who want to get a spa treatment, day two would be a nice option for that because we'll be at sea all day. And before dinner, we can attend the ship show together. And then after a really delicious dinner, we can do the dual reality show. Sometimes the shows on ships are kind of corny, but it's all in fun. I feel like Virgin Voyages is one of the cruise companies that I hear really good things about their entertainment. So, and it's nice to just, have adult focused entertainment as well. On day three, we actually get to leave the ship. And so when we dock in the Dominican Republic, we can get off of the ship and do an excursion together. These are some suggested excursions, but again, we're going to decide, for the most part as a group. These are the things we're talking about now in our group chat. But if someone wants to do something themselves, I'm not going to make them, go to the waterfalls or do zip lining with the group. They can do it like alone or with a fellow traveler. Um, there also is an option to do a local tour and visit artisans and farmers while we're in the Dominican Republic, which will be a nice locally culturally immersive option as well. Then we head back on the ship, where we'll have dinner, and there's a Scarlet Night party that's a lot of fun, that most people usually attend on the ship, where people wear all red that night. And I already have my outfit picked out, so we gonna look cute. Day four, after breakfast, I'm gonna go burn off some calories doing that Zumba. Pickleball is kind of popular, and I figured I'd try my luck at it on this ship, before having lunch and then exploring the ship some more. There's again so many shows and just little activities people can do, but I didn't want to lock us in just because there's so much to do. So, but at night after we have dinner, we will, as a group, head to the party at the Manors Circus Disco, which is a lot of fun. And I also in the travel guides, I also do suggested themed outfits. So this is one of the nights where I would tell you guys, hey, come as a group, show your pride, and wear, a disco inspired outfit. Then on day five, we actually head to the Bahamas, where Virgin Islands has its own private cabana club, that we can lounge in. It's included, so it's free, but of course you got to pay for those drinks if you want to drink anything there. So we can go off in the Bahamas and do excursions, or you can just have a beach day. I might opt for the beach day because I've been to the Bahamas several times. But for those who want to do excursions, there will be options to explore a little bit more. Then we will have a beachside lunch and return to the ship for our final dinner together and a farewell performance at the Manor, which is a club in, like a stage area, theater area on the ship. On day six, we will have a really great breakfast together and say goodbye to all of the calories that we consumed on the ship, and I will start my diet. No, I'm just kidding. And then we will disembark the ship and say our farewells, or maybe just stay in Miami for a couple more days. This is everything that's included. Sorry, as part of the trip. I'm not going to go over it because we are short on time. Technically this is an international trip. But you only have to get yourself to Miami, so that's a win. You only have to pay for a domestic flight. And all meals on the ship are included, so that's another nice thing about this trip. Literally, what you're paying for the trip is probably what you're going to spend for the entire trip, except for your airfare. If you want to come to this cruise with Lesbifriends, The cabins. So these are the cabin prices on the left. These are the suite prices on the right. I'm not in the suite myself, nor do I expect anybody to be. They're just expensive. They're nice, but they're just expensive. So I would always recommend a cabin. I just like to give people all of their options. And the way the cruises are priced are based on the cabin price, not based on the person price. So if you solo book a cabin, you're paying for that whole cabin. If you come on this cruise and there are two people in your room, you are splitting the price of that cabin by two. Plus any applicable taxes or fees, but taxes and fees are a couple $100. Like I thought I was gonna be going on this trip like in my own cabin, so I got a cabin with a balcony cabin for like $3,000, and then my friend decided to come, and so the only additional price that technically I had to pay was $200 for her fees, but she gonna give me half the money for the cabin now, so yes, we're winning. We're winning, so I don't have to pay that alone. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just for a moment just to see if there are any questions. And I know a cruise is a new experience for some folks, so there will be other opportunities for cruises, and maybe more, lead time so people will have more opportunity for a payment plan. I don't manage the payments for the cruise. When you sign up for the cruise, you're registering with me, and then I go and put your information in the Virgin Cruise Lines database, and then Virgin sends you a payment link to make your deposit. But at this point, because the cruise is less than 120 days away, they expect payment in full. So in a perfect world, you maybe sign up for a cruise maybe a year in advance or 9 months in advance. So you could just pay that, I think it's a 20% deposit, and then you'd have time to make payments over time, or at least, save up to make that one big lump sum final payment 120 days before the cruise departs. But at this point, because it's less than a few months away, that they require payment in full. So just wanted to let you know how that works. And also I can't offer 10% off on a cruise because again, you're paying Virgin, you're not paying Lesbifriends travel, so I have no wiggle room with that. All right. And then just for the groups, just FYI for the group, Dora's introduced themselves in the group chat and they're from New Jersey. They want to know if there are any trips in December. Yes, Doris, no worries about being a little delayed coming to the information session. It's recorded, so you'll get the recording sent tomorrow and you can revisit what you didn't hear so far. December so far only has, not only, but that's our trip to South Africa. And in full transparency, well, that's a luxury trip as it is, and so it is pretty costly. The trip last year was a bit more affordable, and there were a few people who signed up, and two of them had to back out because financial reasons. So there's just one person on that trip. This trip is still going to happen. I'm confident it's still going to happen, but I am going to rework the trip with the one person who still left their permission. They said I could rework it. So I'm going to try to make it like $1,000 cheaper, which just means we might have to, stay in lesser promised accommodations. So, I mean, you can look at this trip as is on the website now, but just as a heads up, I will most likely be changing it in the next week to 1 to 2 weeks so that it does reflect a bit of a different of accommodations and a much lesser price. I'm shooting to take $1,000 off. So just be on the lookout for that. Sometimes last year we had 20 people go to South Africa, and well, we had 20 something in Dominican Republic the year before, but that was a pretty big international group trip. I think a sweet spot for Lesbifriends travel, and attendees is 8 to 12 on an international trip. 20 people is a lot to manage. All the personalities and arrival times, and it was a great group. But I think 8 to 12 people is a great group trip experience. So we're shooting for that. But sometimes if the interest isn't there, the trips don't happen. So for people who are on the fence about trips, even if you can't book it now, please try to communicate that with me. I have had to cancel 2 trips this year just because the numbers were really low, and I didn't want people to book their flights and yeah, incur that cost, and then only 2 people showed up on the trip. It's not really fair to you. So if there is interest in a trip, even if you're not ready to sign up, just maybe communicate that so I know, we could still have this trip. All right. Anyway, last but not least, well, I'm gonna skip the, sorry, I want to learn all the things about you, but it's 8:15. I want to be respectful of people's time. So we're gonna get into Greece, which is I'm excited about, and I know other people are excited about this trip too. So we're going to talk about Greece and that trip coming up in September, October. All right, let me share my screen with you again. All right, so we're going some places. Hopefully you guys can see. We're headed to Athens, Mykonos, and Santorini, Greece, this year. I actually did not want to plan this trip, in full transparency. I know that we all want to go to very iconic places like Greece, and Italy and Iceland. I mean, I want to go to Iceland at some point, but I think, that because we are a black and brown queer travel group, I'm just more drawn to take us to brown and black places. And as you may know, the lighter hued places are more expensive to travel to. So, but someone talked me into planning this trip just for them. And I told them they better get 5 people to come on this trip. So far, they've been unsuccessful. So far, it's just me and them on this trip. So maybe one of y'all will join us, so I don't have to be alone with them on this trip. No, I'm just kidding. They're cool. But anyway, we're going to Greece September 30th through October 7th. If you've been checking out the website, you might have seen there was a Croatia add-on to this trip before. People really be checking the website. I was very shocked. The last information session, someone called people were asking me so many questions. That's why I'm surprised you guys are so quiet. I like it, but people were asking me like, "Oh, what about the Costa Rica trip? That was on the website. Now it's not." And I was like, well, if you were interested, you should have told me. Then I wouldn't have had to cancel it. Because those numbers were low too. But anyway, I figure everything happens for a reason. So you might have seen a Croatia add-on for Greece, but I took that off. Maybe we'll make a Croatia trip all for its own, but I only have so much time off working for the federal government, so we have to make it work with the dates that I actually can go. So for this trip, we're going to Greece for a full 8 days. It's going to be amazing, and we're going to visit the most iconic places in Greece. So this is the first accommodation where we'll be staying in Athens. Just so you know, when you do sign up for the trip, you will get all the information about where we're staying and all that good stuff. I've had people who have asked, "Oh, can I come on the trip and just like join y'all?" And I'm like, "That's not how this works. You can't just like hop on the trip, like do your own thing, hop on, hop off. That's not really how a group trip works, with you booking your own accommodation down the street and you coming on 2 or 3 of the excursions." So I don't give that away ahead of time. Sorry, not sorry. But you could figure it out by the pictures if you really wanted to. But we're staying in Athens, just steps away from the Acropolis. Which you can see in the background is a very iconic historic site. So a very walkable area for you to explore when on your own when we're not doing excursions. The second accommodation, we are staying is in Mykonos. So we're gonna get different vibes, like in the three places that we're staying. Um, Athens is more, I guess, historical, cultural. What's that show? Game of Thrones. I mean, I think of Athens when I think of Game of Thrones, I guess. And then Mykonos has more of like maybe like a luxury feel, a luxurious vibe. We're doing things on boats in Mykonos. We're doing wine tastings in Mykonos. Like, a little bit of partying as well. And then last but not least, Santorini. That's going to be like the Zen. These are where they have the blue topped white buildings where you're going to do your photo shoot in the cascading dress over the horizon. These are things, the dress photo shoot is not built into the trip, but there will be free time and information if you want to add that on, by the way. Same for Bali. We did that in Bali, but it was an add-on for people. And not everybody wears dresses, so I'm not gonna, make everybody hang out for that. But these are the accommodations that we're staying in. Very nice boutique style hotels in each of the locations. The trip is going to be set up like such. You arrive in Athens. And we will pick you up from the airport, take you to our accommodations, get you checked in, settled. It doesn't take all day to get to Greece, but it's a good chunk of time. But like, it's not going to be a direct flight, so just imagine yourself taking at least 2 flights to get there. And then we're gonna meet so we don't plan too much on the first day of arrival. But after you're good and settled, we'll do our signature welcome dinner and maybe some exploring on foot in the Athens area. Then on day 2, we're going to do a guided walking tour of some major landmarks in Athens. We'll get to take all the famous pictures and visit these historic sites like the Acropolis and the Parthenon. Also, I don't know. Athens reminds me of like biblical times too. I don't know why I have that reference, but anyway. On day 3, we will. This will be the first time that we are getting from one place to another by a ferry, which is going to be very exciting. It's like a built-in adventure of its own, and also just less time than a flight. And a more leisurely travel day. So we're gonna head to Mykonos. And get checked in and settled in and do some exploring our first day there. We'll probably make stops along the way, like to markets and what have you. So there'll be built-in little mini excursions as well, not just a full day of travel. On day 4, you get to sleep in. I do, as RC can attest. I like to days start early. Not me, just these days start early. But don't worry, in Greece we get to start a little bit later. And so all you really have to do is get breakfast or don't get breakfast. I don't. It's up to you. It's your trip. And then get dolled up or whatever you want to wear for our sunset excuse me, I can't say that word. Sunset catamaran cruise that includes dinner and drinks on day 4. It's going to be gorgeous. We actually, in my most recent trip to Nicaragua with the group a couple weeks ago, we did a private catamaran day trip, which will be the same for this. And that was everybody's favorite part of the trip. Just like being on the boat for several hours, like on a private island, like just hop on, hop off. It was really nice. Day 5, we're after breakfast at the hotel. We are going to take another ferry to Santorini. So I love that we can just travel by a boat. It's going to be so great. Boat and train are my new favorite travel ways to get around because the airport sucks. And then when we get to Santorini, we'll get checked in and get settled and we'll explore a bit. Then on day 6, we're going to do I know not everybody's a drinker. Hopefully we'll have non-alcoholic options for you or maybe this just is not the trip for you. I don't know. But it's included. So we're gonna do 3 family-owned wineries, which will be very like intimate, unique. You'll get to, learn about the people in the local culture as we get to experience these very unique offerings. Day 7 is a leisurely day. So after breakfast, or a leisure day. So after breakfast, we have some optional things for people to do. I will be at that volcano in Hot Springs. Yeah, that it's going to be amazing. As you can see, just Santorini is like relaxation. So a great way to end our trip. And then we will say our farewells on day 8, just like these 2 women in the top hand corner. Yep, just like them. Um, and then just so you know, this is more of a leisurely trip. Like make it your own, but there's still some built-in group time, but there's, as you can see, compared to the other trips, a lot of time to do what you want to do. Make it your own experience. I definitely give suggestions, but you can also just figure it out when you get there. I know, okay, you like to figure it out when you get there, but at least you know where you're going to be staying um, before you get there. You just have to get yourself to and from Greece. And this trip in particular, I do like to know that you are flying into one airport and leaving out another. Um, so I do, yeah, I definitely have people send me their flight information ahead of time just so we can arrange all the transportation. But this trip in particular, I would just encourage people, like, if you have questions about flights, communicate that ahead of time. I'd be happy to go over flight options with you because of that nuance. Um, I did make this trip a little bit cheaper because we are only going to Greece and not Croatia. And then of course, a lot of built-in free time for everyone. So hopefully this trip will not break the bank. If you did want to come to Greece for 8 days, I try to make this trip pretty affordable at $2,300 for a double occupancy. And if you wanted your own room, you would have to pay $3,250. And again, if you want to save some coins for food, drinks, souvenirs, if you pay in full using that 10% off discount code, you'll get that money right back to yourself and investing in your experience. Last but not least, I would like to thank you all for being here in the form of a discount. Yay! Okay, so if you do come on any trip in the upcoming year, I can offer you, just for being here, $100 off discount for any international trip. We don't have that many domestic trips. There's right now only one, I think. Yeah, the summer glamp. So unfortunately, that's not a huge discount, but every bit counts. $25 can go to your gas money. And if you wanted to come on, that trip, you would just use the same discount code. I will email all of this to you tomorrow, along with the link to this session, so you can see that at your leisure. And then just, thank you guys for spending part of your Thursday night with Lesbifriends Travel. It's a good group. We have a lot of fun. The people are really what make the trips and the experiences. I love putting them together for the people, and hopefully you will be the people who come on one of these experiences soon. All right. Whew. I'm done. Drops mic. No, I'm just kidding. All right. All right. RC in the group chat said that they're interested in Greece. I think that you would be a welcomed addition to that Greece trip, RC. Ooh, and your niece wants to come. Are you gonna be babysitting? Can you party with your niece? Okay, just check. Is your niece legal? Because we ain't doing kids trips. We're not there. People have asked. Can I? No, we're not there yet. Maybe next year we will have.
My niece, they are like 34 now.
Oh, okay.
So they'll come to an info session.
The grown niece. I love that.
That's good.
Hi, Doris.
Hello, 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 hello. I apologize. I was with mom all day.
No worries. Hope mom is well.
I'm a traveler, so a lot of the places I've been to already. except for South Africa.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Ditto, but sometimes sometimes you gotta go back. But no, I understand. Well, tell me, Doris, what are some places you haven't been that you want to go to
South Africa is one and Bali is one, but
that aren't even on my list, that aren't on a Lesbifriends list? What are some places you want to go
um, one place I definitely have to go to is Japan. That's a definite.
to?
I want
Okay.
to go to Japan, and I would like to go to Seychelles.
Ooh, Seychelles.
Yes,
I I
those two.
I like those options. Well, we are going to Japan in October, so you could join another information session or revisit one that's already been out and potentially get in that with us. But
Well, I
Seychelles,
would like to, but my vacation dictates a lot of my travel. I travel in the last week of September and the first 2 weeks in December.
okay,
So that I mean, I could probably do a trip, but it would definitely have to be without pay because I'm not gonna interrupt my set vacation time. I just don't. I do those 2 months simply because of the time and also um, it's less crowded. Like I don't go during the summer months at all, at all. I have to do it within a certain time frame, but it's doable. It's definitely doable.
well,
I,
we don't
I would
want
just
you
need
to
to crunch my
travel.
numbers.
We don't want you to take leave without pay. So we'll talk. Maybe we could work out some dates. Maybe we could do
Oh
it.
well, no, I mean that's a choice. I'll get paid. I would just have to work hours prior to that trip. Oh yeah, I'm I'm not special. There's gonna be some money put to the side. But that's something that I would have to do. That's a choice. That's a choice. But if it's say you were going to Japan, I'm just putting that out there. It is doable. But those are the months that I basically travel.
Okay. Good to know, and good to know that you've experienced like, lesser crowds at that time. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Iceland is beautiful. It's very beautiful.
All right. I gotta get there next year, next year. Um, well, thank you. Thank you for being on. Yes, to you or anybody else in the group, are there any questions about any of the other trips that I haven't mentioned tonight, that I didn't present tonight? I do have, information sessions, that we will cover those trips. This was the last call for Bali, last call for the Caribbean cruise, so I did want to get that in. But in a couple weeks, we will be going over, of course, I can't remember them off the top of my head. What did I say we will be doing on the 21st of April? We'll be going over. No, I have to change this. We'll be going over Cabo San Lucas, and I'll pick two more. Maybe we'll do the Japan and the South Africa trip, uh, to go over. Yeah,
Okay.
but and then I'm just gearing up for 2026, so that's why I always like to know where people's wish lists are.
Oh, okay, great. Now I think I saw something. Was there like a camping trip as well?
There is. So in the email that you get tomorrow, I'll include this information session, a link from this information session, so you can watch it or listen to it. And then the last information session, which we did go over the glamping trip. It's called the Summer Glamp. Actually, RC will be on that trip too. Very excited to have them there. They'll be presenting a couple of workshops there. Um, yeah, that's going to be really fun. It's I rented out a whole retreat resort. I went there for a retreat last year. It was a small retreat. There were three of us on this retreat, this yoga retreat. But I just fell in love with the space. I fell in love with the farm to table food. There's yurts, there's tents for a more intimate, or even solo experience. A few people have booked their own tents or their own, like their glamping tents, but A couple people have booked solo occupancy, but for those who want to go the more cost-effective route, there are glamping pods. So you're a big cabin, like a state-of-the-art cabin, but you have your own pod structure to sleep in with a bed, either a twin or a full or a king size bed, and you have a shared bathroom space, but still there's privacy there. And there will be 60 to 80, 60 to 90 people on that trip, just depending on how many people sign up. And we'll do some wellness things like yoga and meditation and body movements and dancing, but we'll do some turn up things like field day and scavenger hunts and dance parties. And then we'll do some like fun and kinky stuff like, someone's gonna do a ropes play workshop. Someone's gonna do like a singles workshop. My friend who's like a sex therapist is gonna do that, and yeah, just a lot of fun. Like I'm gonna start sharing this in the next month, like all the workshops that we're gonna do, but the basic outline is online, so you can get a feel for what the weekend is gonna entail.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Any other questions about any other trips? Y'all are so easy. All right. Well, I'm still waiting for wait, is Kay still here? I wanted to see what you cooked. It's
I
okay.
am.
Us.
Let me see if I can. Let me see.
We don't want to mess
Wait.
up if you gotta plate it and everything, it's okay.
No, it hasn't been plated.
See, all right. I'm just gonna come over and get a plate real quick. No, I'm just kidding.
You gotta come to Atlanta. You gotta come to Atlanta. I was just in DC. I left on Saturday.
Oh, nice. And I was just in Atlanta. I left on Monday. Look at that.
Did you really?
Good. Look at that. I'll probably be in Atlanta more, so maybe we'll get together and have coffee or tea one of these trips.
Please, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'll be nice. But no, you can show us your cooking next time. I hope you
Okay.
enjoy it if you're eating tonight.
I'm gonna take one bite and go to bed. I get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, go to bed. That's early.
Mhm.
That's early. Well, I wish I could say I was going to bed, but I'm about to fold some of my Airbnb laundry, and then I'm actually going to BWI to pick up someone from the airport. So hopefully you
Wow.
have a restful evening. I'm gonna go prepare myself for my night's activities. Thank you all again for being here. If you do have any follow-up questions, please feel free to respond to the email that you got or that you're about to get as a follow-up to this. And then I also include my business number on there, so you're welcome to text or call. I do turn off my phone at a decent hour, so if you don't get a response after 9, you will get one in the morning.
I do have
Okay.
one question.
Yeah.
Was it just Lynn who's interested in Bali?
Yes, I believe it's just Lynn well, I mean, everybody wants to go to Bali. I don't know if everybody can go to Bali this trip, but I know Lynn, there's another person that signed up for this, but they're not here that was interested in Bali. No,
Okay.
or a couple people, but it might just not be Bali this time around. I know there's one other person on this call that was interested in Bali, but maybe it'll be Bali in the future. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay.
it's right around the corner, and I'm sorry, excuse me. I did make the booking deadline for Bali about a month before the trip. So it's actually on my birthday, May 9th. So Bali is gonna book by May 9th if you would like to go. Um, this time around. We'll go to Bali again, but I can't promise it'll be next year.
Okay.
All right, beautiful people. Thank you again for spending part of your evening. I hope everyone has a good night, sleeps well, enjoys any food or bites of food that they might have, and all that jazz. And hopefully we will stay in touch.
We will. Thank you so much.
Okay, have a good evening.
Thank
Bye for now.
you.
Bye.
Bye.